Sometimes recipes are not what their name might suggest, leading to potential confusion and amusement or embarrassment, which for me are two sides of the same coin. I know firsthand because that very thing happened here, for all the world to see, or at least a few of you eagle-eyed viewers. The situation came when I was showing you the ins and outs of a vintage electric skillet I bought at the thrift store, and how its handle features a temperature guide for various recipes. For some reason, when my eyes got to this one here, they thought it said rabbit. As some of you noted, and I realized after uploading the video, it's actually Rarebit. Which of course led me to ask the question, what in the heck is Rarebit? So down the rabbit hole I went. Or should I say Rarebit hole? You ready to join me? Let's go digging. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And yes, today we are making Welsh Rarebit. Now let me get ahead of this now. When I accidentally say rabbit instead of rarebit in this episode, try to go easy on me. And for my United Kingdom friends, especially those of you in Wales, when you see me do something wrong making Welsh Rarebit, be sure to let me know the appropriate way in the comments below. Okay, first things first, let's answer the question that probably many of you are asking, at least those of you who are not from Great Britain or perhaps 1970s America when this electric skillet was being made, and that is, what is Welsh Rarebit? Well, at its simplest, it is cheese sauce on bread. But perhaps that's oversimplifying things, because the bread could be toast, it could be crackers, and the cheese sauce, well, it could be made with milk, it could be made with beer, or both. And finally, the whole thing can be finished under a broiler for a nice gratin where the cheese sauce bubbles and sizzles, and well, that's the way that we are going to make it today because it's delicious. And how could it not be? I mean, we're talking delicious carbohydrate-y bread and unctuous savory cheese sauce. Perhaps I'm exposing myself to further ridicule here, but could we also call this Welsh nachos? Now the next thing you might be asking is, why is it called Rarebit? Are you sure it's not rabbit? Well, according to my sources, including my well-worn copy of the Food Lover's Companion and good old Wikipedia, it actually does go by both, either Welsh Rabbit or Welsh Rarebit. As for the origins of the name, that is debatable at best, but this is nothing new. In fact, Welsh Rarebit was first referenced in the 1747 cookbook, The Art of Cookery, and if you're wondering, there, yes, it was called rabbit, not rarebit. With that history out of the way, the good news is Welsh Rarebit is actually quite easy to make, and the main component comes together very quickly. It's a cheese sauce based on bechamel, that French mother sauce that we made a while back, and I told you was a gateway to other sauces. Well, this is one of them. For the cheese in this sauce, we are going to use sharp cheddar, which of course I grated on that rotary grater that I showed you last week. And we are going to spruce things up with seasonings like white pepper, dry mustard, a little bit of cayenne, and well, I'll put the full recipe ingredients in the description below. We're going to use a combination of milk and beer for this sauce because it just seems right. Now, as for the beer component, well, I'm not a big beer drinker because first of all, I'm not a big drinker at all. And as for beer, it usually has gluten in it. Well, I found one that's both non-alcoholic and gluten removed. This isn't a sponsorship or anything, but this stuff is called Athletic and it's really tasty because, well, it tastes like real beer. But use what you want. I imagine something like a wonderful Guinness would work particularly well in this. And of course, if you want to skip the beer entirely, just add a little extra milk. For the pan that we'll be cooking this in, well, of course, how could I not cook it in the vintage Farberware electric skillet that kind of inspired this whole thing? But of course, if you don't have one of these 1970s skillets, you can use any pot or pan. I would recommend something like stainless steel or perhaps non-stick because, well, it's cheese sauce that we're going to be dealing with here. And finally, for the broiling, well, remember when I told you a few months ago that my oven died? Well, it's only half dead because the broiler still works, so we're going to be using that. In addition to this big ol' pan that I found at the thrift store this week, this is a wonderful old Vollrath. And well, it's going to serve us well for this recipe. You can obviously make a smaller portion and you can even do this in a toaster oven if that's all you have. So with all that said, let's make some Welsh Rarebit. Okay, the first thing we'll do is preheat our skillet to about 175 degrees. That is the Rarebit setting. That'd be about low, medium low on any other range. Okay, our pan's been heating for a few minutes. We are going to put in a generous pat of butter. This is about a quarter cup of butter that I'm using here. And of course, what we are doing now is we are going to make a roux. A roux is simply a thickener made with flour and butter. I'm using a gluten-free flour here, but you can use, of course, traditional flour to make this. So just wait until this butter melts, and in goes our flour along with all of our seasonings. And this is making a roux. We are just going to cook this for a couple of minutes. And what's going to happen is you're going to smell kind of a nuttiness. That is the roux being made. You're kind of cooking that flour. And of course, Bronco is here at my side, as always, helping out. You love Welsh Rarebit as well, don't you? Okay, our roux is cooked for a couple of minutes. This is called kind of a blonde roux, and it's kind of the color of sand. Now in goes our milk. And you're going to want to be constantly whisking this to make sure there are no lumps. And this is what we are going to thicken. This is essentially our bechamel sauce. Just cook this for, maybe a minute or two, or until everything gets nice and thick and the milk starts to simmer. Okay, our sauce is thickened up. Now we are going to add the beer. Add this in slowly, and again, if you're not doing beer, just add an extra half a cup of milk. Once again, whisk this. Make sure all those lumps are out. Let this thicken up. This is just going to take another maybe 30 seconds or minute. And by the way, this smells absolutely amazing even right now. Okay, we're back at the simmer. Our sauce is thickened. By the way, this right here, this is called nappe. And you know that your sauce is at the correct consistency when it just coats the back of a spoon. Okay, in goes the cheese. This is our sharp cheddar. This is about half a pound of sharp cheddar. Guys, this only took like 5 minutes to make. This is how you would make an amazing homemade cheese sauce. So all you have to do now is stir this in. I'm going to shut off the heat. We are going to let our cheese completely melt. And boom, we have just made our Welsh Rarebit cheese sauce. Now all we have to do is get the bread / toast ready to go. Okay, bread assembly time. I'm going to use about 8 slices for this recipe. We're going to put these all in the pan here. Now we are going to throw these under the broiler. I want you to watch these like a hawk. Just let them broil for, just say a minute or so until the top portion is toasted. You could also use just a toaster for this if you don't want to use the broiler for this portion. And here we go. We just have our pieces of bread toasted on top. Now we simply flip them over. Now we take our piping hot cheese sauce and just put it right over these pieces of bread. Just coat that top with the cheese sauce. Do this for all the pieces of toast here. Okay, now here we go. Back under the broiler, and again, watch these like a hawk. This is called gratinés, and we are going to cook these just for a couple moments until the cheese gets super bubbly and just starts to brown. And here we are, friends. Here is our finished Welsh Rarebit. I'm using some gluten-free bread here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? Let's give this a try. The crisp yet soft bread and that savory cheese on top that has been gratinéed. You can just taste the beer, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Absolutely delicious. So that is how to make Welsh Rarebit. And you know, I don't think I said rabbit once in this video, although who knows, I probably did. Whatever you want to call it, I hope you try this recipe. Let me know what you think, and if you've been making this for years, maybe it's been a family recipe, I want to know how you do it and how you enjoy making it. Okay, trivia time. Last week I asked you to identify this small culinary tool, and several of you got it right. Of course, this is a frother. This is for frothing milk or cream, getting it nice and foamy for your coffee. These work exceptionally well, and well, they just take a couple batteries and they whisk very, very quickly. For this week's culinary trivia, I have a pan here, and well, this is, you could call this a special use pan because it is really designed for making one thing. Of course, it can cook others, but this really excels at making one thing. What does it make, and what kind of pan is this? If you know the correct answer or have a guess, be sure to put it in the comments below. And of course, I will let you know the correct answer in the next episode. Hey, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time, I hope you want to cook.